Much to the delight of my entire family, today we have received some groundbreaking news in regards to aliens. I feel like I'm giving some kind of press conference here about it because I feel so personally invested in it. For my entire life, my family has always firmly believed that extraterrestrials have not only visited this planet but made contact with us, and we've recovered some spacecrafts and all kinds of gadgets and gizmos that the government isn't telling us. And now they've received some vindication that that belief might be the truth. Today there was a hearing with a gentleman named David Grush who was claiming that not only have aliens come to this planet, but we have recovered some wreckage, some items, even some bodies, perhaps. And this is all sworn under oath. And he is a pretty credible source, all things considered. He was a military intelligence officer for about 14 years. He had, from what I understand, from what I've researched here, pretty high level clearance. He was a pretty important person in his post, and he is now putting all of this public at this hearing. Now, he hasn't presented any concrete evidence or any evidence like that, any proof, but his claims, he says, do have not only eyewitness supports, but real concrete proof, irrefutable evidence that he is unable to share publicly, but is able to share in private with Congress. So it's a very interesting development. I'll go over it a little bit more in depth. I talked about it on stream today. Overall, though, I don't think you're going to find anyone happier about this news than my dad. After the hearing today, my dad called me just full of jubilation. It was like a kid on Christmas. He was giddy, like a high schooler that actually just got a date to prom. My dad called me, laid out all of the details of what happened in the hearing, and was just so happy to hear someone that has credibility say these things because it gets him excited to hear it. He really wants to see alien proof and get to experience that truth coming to light. So this was a really cool day overall for me and my family. I still don't fully believe it, if I'm being honest, because he hasn't provided any proof. It's very hard for me to just take everyone at their word. I understand lying under oath is a serious offense, but it's not like that's never happened before. You know, you really think someone would do that? Go under oath and tell lies? Absolutely, for sure. It has happened before, it will happen again. I'm not saying it happened right now, but I just don't take anything at just the face value of the claims. I would like to see some of the evidence here. So I'm very excited to learn more about it. This has got me fucking salivating for more information and more details about all of the things that he's claiming. So let me just go ahead and play the stream clips now to bring you all up to speed on what went down. How many aliens could we take in a fight? Well, according to David Grush, we stand no chance at actually fighting them, apparently. Which, I have always said, if they are real and have visited us, well, I think aliens are real in the universe at some point. I personally haven't ever thought they visited us, but I've always said if they did, we would stand no chance. We would stand legitimately no chance. It'd be like putting a child up against, like, John Bones Jones. Like, you're never gonna win, right? And that's kind of what he said, too. One of the questions was, are our weapons sufficient to defend ourselves against them? Or something to that effect. And his answer was, absolutely not. According to my dad. So, like I said, I haven't watched the hearing yet. But once it was over, my dad called me, like, damn near celebrating. I could hear kazoos going off in the background. He's like, I told you, Charlie. I told you this day would come, that we'd have legitimate confirmation from reputable sources that aliens have come here. And he was filling me in. He was giving me the nitty-gritty behind everything here. But for those that don't know the situation, David Grush is a former military intelligence officer. We talked about him a little while ago. He is the real deal. He is who he says he is. And he does have actual pretty high-level clearance, as I understand it. And a little bit ago, he came to the public. Well, he made public statements that extraterrestrial visitors have not only been here, but have been observed, and in even certain situations, we have recovered some of their shit. And they had a hearing about this today. These are huge claims. Now, granted, he has not provided any evidence. He hasn't linked to, their social media accounts for us to double check or anything. We don't have any pictures or anything. Like, he doesn't have a picture of an alien doing a keg stand outside of Area 51 or anything. But he is a high-ranking intelligence officer who is making these claims. So it has more weight to it than most. So they had this hearing today, just kind of going over the scope of it, bringing everyone up to speed. And very interesting. He was asked point blank if there's any real biological indication that what they have is not of human origin. And he says, yes, it is not human. When asked how many people are aware of this, like in terms of like unidentified aerial phenomena, he said thousands of pilots have reported them but are either too embarrassed to come forward thinking people will call them crazy, or are unable to come forward because of like crackdowns, something like that. Evidence should be king here. Well, he's not on trial. There's no burden of proof here. This is a hearing just to get all the information. He did say he has all of the evidence but is unable to bring it forward to the public, but is willing to share it with Congress in what's called a skiff, I think, is what my dad called it, or my dad's just making up terms to make me sound like a fucking idiot. I've never heard of that before, but apparently it's like a private hearing, and he said he's more than willing to give over all of the evidence he has on all of his claims in the private skiff. Yeah, that's a real thing? Okay. I've never heard of that. But one thing that I said was very fishy from the start about this story is David Grush actually had expressed written permission from the DOD to come forward with alien information. So to me, he's not really a whistleblower. He's more of like a spokesperson. I don't think that necessarily pokes holes in the credibility of the claims, I guess, but it is very interesting that they're labeling him a whistleblower when he literally has permission from the teacher. You know, this isn't a guy that fucking crawled through the trenches and threw up a signal in the sky in order to get us the information. He had permission. He had their blessing. Why is he doing this? We'll have his answer and then I'll give you my answer. He believes that he's doing the public a great service by bringing this information forward, thinking that we need to be brought into the loop here, brought into the fold in an ever-growing situation here with advanced life forms. I think the reason is distraction. I think all of this is serving as a big kind of distraction for what? I don't know. But I just find it so odd that the DOD would be like super on board with it and let him do all of this. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the distraction would be for, but I mean, here, let's spitball some tinfoil hat shit. Let's assume I'm right and it's all a distraction. I guess what they could do next is make claims like they need to build defense systems in order to combat potential extraterrestrials, like these big-titted goth babe aliens coming to Earth looking to harvest us. We've got to stop it. So we're going to need to increase our spending on defense programs in order to make sure that we're adequately prepared for it. But I would love to believe that this is all very legitimate. David Grush legitimately has real evidence. Aliens are real. We've recovered certain things, and he can prove all of it. That's what I want. But what I really believe is that this is all somehow a distraction. That's where I'm really torn. I don't know. This is, to date, probably the most credible person to come forward with apparently other witnesses of high-ranking military origin with evidence. And we now have more access to unidentified aerial phenomena than ever. That's very hard to explain. So this is probably as credible as it's ever been. But I just don't know. It just feels artificial. He said it all under oath. If he's lying, he just ruined his life. Yeah, of course. But there is a huge difference between a testimonial and evidence. We've heard the testimonial. It's all under oath, of course. But we haven't seen any evidence yet. The Israeli space chief said the Galactic Federation is in contact with America last year. The DoD doesn't support, they just released him to say what he believes is a classified program. That's the only other comment. But that's still giving their blessing, otherwise they would have shut him down like they do most other whistleblowers. For example, like Edward Snowden, right? Like, I feel like if they didn't want it out, it wouldn't have got out. And I don't know what the Galactic Federation is. I didn't realize we had Commander Shepard out there on the fucking Mass Effect relay at the Citadel or something talking to us. That's news to me. If this is all real, do you think they would ever tell the public the full story? No. If not, why do you think they need to hide it? Panic. Brother, we can't even handle the most basic concepts right now. Go on Twitter for any length of time, or excuse me, the platform formerly known as Twitter, for any length of time. People won't even accept the most obvious, conclusive, true statements anymore. We are not ready for it. Why do we have any reason to listen to them when they provide no evidence? Because of where the claim is coming from. This isn't just like a Joe Schmo. This guy was a high-ranking military intelligence officer for like 14 years. Not exactly like the number one person you'd think to just go out there and lie for no real benefit to himself. No, he didn't say if the aliens were hot or not yet. I'm going to assume no. I've always thought if there were aliens out there, they'd be like insectoid-esque. How would the government even capture the spacecraft? That's exactly what I said. I have no idea. The only thing that I could even somewhat spitball a guess, assuming it's all real, is they recovered wreckage from a spacecraft that blew up somewhere in space and drifted onto Earth and crashed somewhere. I don't think it came to Earth and then crashed. It certainly wasn't shot down. Apparently he even claimed we have no chance of even, like, defending ourselves against them. So it would have just had to be like a drifting piece of something. Just because you're smart doesn't mean you can't crash. Brother, you're not just smart. If you have something that can reach Earth, that means you have something that defies our very understanding, and this is even according to David, apparently. This is what my dad said, and he's right. That means you have something that is so far beyond our comprehension we can't even prove that what we're seeing would be real. You wouldn't just crash on Earth. The only thing that I could even think would be the case is, again, something happened, maybe it hits asteroids out in space and a piece of it breaks off and lands on Earth, crashes into Earth. It wouldn't crash when it gets to Earth. You can travel the galaxy without problem, but when they get to Earth, all of a sudden they're crashing everywhere. I don't think he was claiming that there's been a ton of crashes. Just a ton of sightings. And apparently they do have in their possession some UAP fragments and shit. And I guess bodies too. Aliens heard about your performance in the Hunger Games and needed to come see it firsthand. See, like, there's a theory I'd actually subscribe to. That one would make sense. But why are the aliens here? COVID? That's probably why. COVID hit their planet real hard and they were trying to escape. Or maybe they're here to collect COVID from us. They have like a virus museum or something and they need COVID to be part of it.
I'm asking Congress to hold our government to this standard and thoroughly investigate these claims.
God, imagine if he brought in an alien.
As I stand here under oath now,
actions speak louder than words. Come in here, Glorb.
Told them. In a position of extreme trust, both in my military and civilian capacities. I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program.
Oh, that was one of the other questions they apparently asked pretty soon, is if anyone ever got injured reverse engineering any UAPs. And he said yes. But again, there's no evidence.
To which I was denied access.
I hope there will be at some point.
When
In what possible sense is he credible just because of position? Yeah, what? Yeah, obviously. A 14-year high-ranking military intelligence officer with, like, actually pretty impressive clearance? Yes. That is what would make him credible. Yeah. It's like what makes everyone credible is their position. Like, if it was me saying all of this, it would be completely uncredible. I'm a worthless source. Right now, all it seems like is that they've made him a celebrity, with an official endorsement from the DoD. Which seems very weird for a whistleblower to get that kind of glamour from the people he's blowing the whistle on. I disagree. How? Look at all the other whistleblowers like Edward Snowden. Look what happened to him. Oh, here's another one. An easy one. Epstein got fucking murdered when he was about to blow the whole lid off of that crazy operation. If there's something they don't want released, it will not get released. It's that time again where I start gushing about aliens. It's one of my favorite topics to discuss. It's the one I get most heated about on stream and have the most absurd conversations with chat on stream about. And yesterday, there was a massive UAP congressional hearing that had some very well-established individuals, some very high-ranking individuals that were making testimonies under oath about UAPs and government divisions, as well as general information about things relating to UAPs and the government. It's all very interesting, especially because it's coming from people who have real merit here. It's like substantial credibility for the individuals that have come forward under oath to speak on these things. It's not like they just grabbed random nobodies, right? They didn't go out there and find Jericho Sloppenheim, who goes to the congressional hearing talking about how the green guys from space probed his chocolate starfish. This is very buttoned up people that have come forward to talk about these things and blow the whistle on UAP departments, even talking about how some people were injured during UAP retrieval programs, and it is fascinating. I haven't had the chance to talk to my father about all of this, whom all of you know is the preeminent expert on anything extraterrestrial. He is the world's best when it comes to anything alien related. I'm sure right now he's hunkered down, doodling away, crunching numbers, theorizing things, all from these new testimonials that have come forward. But I think it's important to note that they don't present any, physical evidence. The evidence that gets presented here about the UAPs and everything is testimonial, which is real evidence, but I don't want anyone coming into this expecting them to wheel out the corpse of the fucking Martian Manhunter or something, or have an alien smoking a cigarette talking about his time in deep space and his journey to get to Earth. That doesn't happen. Instead, they are talking about departments and different things that have been going on for a while in regards to non-human crafts. And one of the biggest ones is about the Immaculate Constellation program, which is now fully available for anyone to go out there and read, which I think is a very cool thing to do. And also there was this moment. Now I learned about it on stream last night, so I didn't get to do a huge deep dive on stream, but this morning I spent quite a bit of time going over a lot of the big moments, and this one really stood out to me.
Has there been any, to your knowledge, any communication with a non-human life form?
So the term communication is a bit of a trick word because there's verbal communication like we're having now. The problem is you also have nonverbal communication. And so I would say definitively yes, but from a nonverbal meaning, when a Russian reconnaissance aircraft comes into U.S. airspace, we scramble two F-22s, and we are certainly communicating intent and capability. I think the same goes with this. We have these things that are being observed over controlled U.S. airspace, and they're not really doing a good job hiding themselves. They're making it pretty obvious they have the ability to even interfere with our nuclear equities and our nuclear readiness.
That's pretty big, considering this is all under oath. And this is someone who was once a counterintelligence operative for the government. This isn't just some random, fucking weirdo in their basement who's locked themselves away feeding into delusions. This is someone that did have a pretty powerful position, at least as I understand it, and many others who came forward here, the same. They all had positions that have real merit for what they're talking about. So it is a big deal to have these testimonials. Now, as I discussed on stream, I still believe aliens are absolutely out there in the universe. Those slimy weasels, I know they're out there having a hoot and a holler, but I truly, sincerely do not believe they have ever been to this little fucking space rock. I just don't. I just think it is so unbelievably unlikely, and if they ever did visit us, we would never know because their technology would be so far beyond our comprehension, and there's no way we'd be able to actually even see it at any point, let alone retrieve some kind of crash. The odds of them crashing in here, there's a higher chance that I get a growth spurt in my 30s. It's just so unlikely. Now, I don't believe anyone during the congressional hearing was lying under oath. Absolutely not. I have no doubt that everyone that was testifying and giving their statements was being 100% truthful. I believe all the departments are real departments. I believe all the programs are real programs, all of that they spoke about. I believe in this case, they believe that there was a real nonverbal communication with a non-human entity. But there's no physical evidence that was presented. There's nothing that was presented that convinces me that, oh, it really was aliens. I know they're being truthful. I'm very confident in that, but that doesn't mean that it's absolutely aliens. For example, this statement about definitively, yes, we have had nonverbal communication with non-human entities. Well, we also thought that back in the 70s with the WOW signal. And there's still a lot of people who believe the WOW signal is irrefutable proof of intelligent life out there, but I just think there's more evidence to suggest that it isn't. There's a lot of other explanations for what the WOW signal really is. Just because he believes that there was 100% definitive communication with a non-human entity doesn't mean that that's what it was. There could be something else to explain it, and since we weren't presented with any of what that is, it's now just, okay, I guess I have to assume it was aliens, because he believes it's aliens, It's just hard to get me to 100% say, like, yes, it's aliens. I desperately want to. I would be extremely happy to be proven wrong about my take that aliens have never visited us. But at the moment, there just still isn't that proof that gets me there and convinces me of that. But hopefully this is the start of more and more conversations and more information about UAPs and the government's involvement with UAP programs and departments. Maybe we can get some more declassified information and evidence of anything of non-human origin. That would be extremely exciting. If that information and that content exists, I would love for that to start being shared, and this seems like a good step in that direction if all of it truly is of non-human origin. So hopefully this is just the first of many UAP breakthroughs. Did you watch the UAP Congress hearing today? Apparently it was earth-shattering. The UAP thing was today? I'll definitely take a peek. I feel like if this actually was groundbreaking, my dad would have called me ASAP with a big "I told you so."
Live for us on Capitol Hill. Joe, you were in the room for that more than 2-hour hearing. What did you learn?
Aliens are real. You won't believe it. And they want to suck my dick right now.
If these technologies are not made by any government, who's making them? Private companies, or are you implying they are crafted by a non-human intelligence?
No, my buddy Eric makes them in his
That's
garage.
precisely why we're here. The problem is that, temporally speaking, over decades, not just the last 10 years, to put this in perspective,
Are these private companies you're implying, or is this non-human intelligence?
it may be both.
Okay.
When it comes to Blue Force technology,
What? Maybe both. Like they're working together, or like there's different UAPs? I don't think they could both be true, right? They're private company aliens. Oh, of course, yeah. What's next? You gonna tell me the aliens unionized or something? Yeah, whatever. Man, I wish they just had 3 titties.
to discuss.
Okay. Are you read into secret UAP crash retrieval programs?
We would have to have a conversation in a closed session, ma'am. I signed documentation 3 years ago that restricts my ability to discuss specifically crash retrievals.
It's like the Suicide Squad. They got like that thing in their neck gonna blow his head off if he talks about it.
And what is in the book is what I was told I'm allowed to talk about.
Has the government conducted secret UAP crash retrieval programs, yes or no?
Yes.
That's not, well, that doesn't necessarily mean they were successful. That just means they might have seen something and then tried to go get it and reclaim it, believing that it could be a UAP. And then what they found could have very well been just my buddy Eric's man-made doohickey. But that would be cool if they have retrieved some.
Were they designed to identify and reverse engineer alien craft, yes or no?
Yes.
So those two yeses right there at the end, very important there. Now, just shortly after that hearing, that was Congresswoman Nancy Mace sharing.
I mean, it's cool to hear, but that's not surprising. I don't think aliens have ever visited Earth. I've made that very clear. I know aliens are out there. I think it's unlikely that we're the only intelligent life. I just don't think they've ever been here. I truly don't. But it's not surprising me to hear, like, I'm assuming it's true because he's under oath, that they had like a program to go retrieve it and try and like reverse engineer it. That doesn't mean that it ever found or produced anything, right? Like, I've had times where I've gone out trying to get laid. I didn't get laid. Shit, I didn't meet anybody. You know? Like, it's you know, you can have those plans, you can try and do those things. It doesn't necessarily mean that it worked. But I think the question should be, have they ever retrieved anything of extraterrestrial origin? Because you can have a department dedicated to reverse engineering it if it's ever retrieved. The question should really just be, have we ever actually gotten anything of extraterrestrial origin? That's what I want an answer to, and some evidence of.
Yes.
See, that's not confirmation they ever got one. Again, that is a program that would aim to retrieve them, if there was any. Like, I feel like there's millions, like, we have a fucking Space Defense Force program, right? They haven't fought off any alien invaders, I'll tell you right now. Apparently, the biggest bombshell during this hearing was documents regarding the Immaculate Constellation program, which is a secret UFO retrieval program the Pentagon is running. They just released them online for everyone to read. Ooh. United States Department of Defense and the intelligence community are withholding information about anomalous phenomena from Congress. It's a testimony from Michael Schellenberger. I do believe we probably have plenty of programs for that. Like, there's no way this guy's lying, not under oath. No shot. I definitely do think there are programs for, like, retrieval of UAPs or, like, any kind of investigation into it, reverse engineering if they ever find one. I just don't think it's ever happened. I don't think there's ever been a alien spacecraft that has ended up here. You don't think UFOs exist at all? I think it is so unbelievably like main character syndrome type shit to think that somehow aliens, if they have faster than light travel or wormhole traveling capabilities, would somehow just crash on our fucking tiny little planet. That would be so unbelievably unlikely because it's incomprehensible to us the technology that they would already have in order to even make it this far. Like that's so unlikely. And for us to catch a glimpse of them is even more unlikely. If they made it here and we'd somehow see them in a fucking Tic Tac, that's unbelievably unlikely. So the witness is lying? Brother, how many times I gotta say it? No, I don't think they're lying at all. They're talking about programs. I have no doubt these programs exist. Just like we have our Space Defense Force program. But we're not defending the Earth from anything right now. We're not fighting off the fucking Tyranids out there with the space defense program America's got. They exist, I have no doubt. I have no doubt about it. They're definitely not lying. Tic Tac video, probably the most credible we have. Yep, that and the other one from the ship. Those are the two UAP videos that have the least amount of explanation for. What do you think about the theory that aliens created us and are coming now because we're close to ending ourselves? What? I think that's a theory that's based on nothing but someone who really likes anime. If life is found on other moons in our solar system, would people finally stop thinking we are special and we're literally the point of the universe? So for the longest time, I always thought if aliens ever visit us, if aliens ever have visited us and we finally reveal it, I always thought they'd be like a unifying moment because in pretty much every sci-fi property ever, when people speak of humanity or Earth, it's always like one united front of humans. And I always thought if aliens were discovered, that would be that unifying moment where like everyone on Earth comes together. And now I'm 100% sure that would never fucking happen at all. That would just never happen. That just caused so much fucking chaos now. We'd take their oil. Yeah. Man, we would butt fuck them so hard if we could. How disappointed would you be if aliens just looked like humans but with pointy ears or glowing eyes? There is not a single alien design that would actually disappoint me. The only one that would disappoint me is if aliens looked like what that researcher said dudes are going to look like from gaming in 20 years. If they looked like this, then I'd be mad. But anything shy of this, I'm going to be blown away. I'm going to be so happy. What an incredible day for father-son bonding between me and my dad. With all of the alien information that's come to light today with the Mexican Congress broadcasting some alien corpses, supposedly, my dad and I have been going back and forth spitballing, and I have been doing a deep dive into the most rancid underbelly the internet has to offer when it comes to alien information. Sometimes when you stare too long into the abyss stares back into you. I'll tell you what, sports fans, if there are aliens out there, I'm on their watch list for how deep I've gone. I'm on their ass like a hemorrhoid right now. I'm having a close encounter with a third kind. You might see my eyes roll back into my skull and have me levitating out of the chair here in a moment. Point is, I have found some very intriguing information in regards to these alien bodies. But let me bring you up to speed just in case you don't know what I'm talking about. I posted a video earlier today going over the whole situation, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen it by now, but I'm just going to give you the cliff notes, bring you up to speed on the lore with what's going on. Last night, an individual named Jaime Maussan had brought some supposed alien bodies into Mexican Congress, and this was broadcast to the entire world. He was making claims that these are authentic extraterrestrials, and he had a ton of tests to prove it. All the tests and all the information is public, and he invited anyone else in the world to come into the Thunderdome and analyze the alien bodies to confirm and verify that these are the real deal. Unfortunately, these aliens don't have three massive honkers. They're not goth, big-titted alien babes. They are little goofballs. These tiny little goobers are being shown in Congress, and he's bringing up a ton of pictures as well as data and saying that they were found at the Nazca Lines. They're about 1,000 years old, and they are actual aliens. Now, a little background on Jaime Maussan. He is a UFOologist and a journalist. His main profession is journalism. And this is not the first time he's done this. He also had another mummified remain that he called an alien back in 2017. It was debunked. And this one here is taking the world by storm because a lot of people believe the Mexican government is the ones revealing this. They're breaking the magician's code and they're showcasing real aliens. When that's not the real story here. It is Jaime Maussan and his team that's presenting this. It's not the Mexican government. It's become widespread confusion. Basically, they platformed him and he presented. Not an official endorsement from the Mexican government, at least not as far as I understand here. So, now that you're brought up to speed, what have I found? What new information could have possibly come to light in only 12 hours? Well, this is going to open your third eye here. Get ready to activate your Sharingan because the truth's coming in hot. It turns out these alien bodies aren't new. In fact, these were debunked in 2021. There's a really great YouTube video that goes over exactly what these are. And according to this, they're not aliens. Now, before getting into the video, I know a lot of you are going to say, well, what about all of the tests? And those haven't been, confirmed as faked or fraudulent or anything like that. So again, if the rest of the world truly does have access to this information and are invited out to actually study these mummified remains and conclude that they are real and authentic, that'd be amazing. Nobody wants them to be real aliens more than me and my dad. But it's just hard to really believe that because there are so many things working against it. I've seen a lot of cope from the community about why they look so stereotypically alien, like the movie depictions. And what they keep defaulting to is saying that people that worked on the movie sets modeled their alien design after real alien encounters and paintings from back in the day, or they'd actually seen aliens like at fucking Area 51 or something, so they made the costumes and the effects to look like that, so it'd be warming us up to what real aliens look like. And to me, that's just a load of baloney. We're teetering on Tumblr fanfic with that reach. I would like to ask you, what's more likely? That, or that whoever had these mummified remains modeled them after our perception of aliens from movies? It becomes even more likely that that's the case when you consider where it comes from. The source here, Jaime Maussan, whom is regarded by some as a hoaxer, who has had similar things in the past be proven completely wrong. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, fucking please stop fooling me. You're making me feel dumb. It's, again, nothing's been 100% confirmed here, but I would just like to present to you the evidence here from 2021 with these bodies that suggest it's not actually alien remains.
Now let's study the X-rays of the small mummies. Ufologists go as far as calling them humanoid reptiles. So what do we see? Same stuff. A hodgepodge of human and animal bones.
The channel is called Scientists Against Myths, and they tackled this alien mummified remain phenomenon all the way back in 2021. They even use some of the same pictures that were presented to Mexican Congress last night. So I do believe these are the same mummified remains. I don't think there's any wiggle room to make a real argument that what's being analyzed by this channel is different than what was presented last night. I think it's pretty clear that these are the same.
Here's a mummy named Josephine. A real beauty. Instead of humer eyes, she sports femurs, or thigh bones. Her legs are even more baffling.
Immediately the question needs to be asked, if this is a real extraterrestrial body, why does it have the same bones us cringe-ass humans have? What are the odds that these aliens would evolve down a similar path we did and have the same bones we did, just in a different order and arrangement? That seems highly unlikely, but let's go ahead and paddle around in the kiddie pool of fantasy and assume that all intelligent life in the universe evolves down similar paths, so every single fucking life form out there in the cosmos has all of the exact same bones we do. Well, in that case, this species got fucked hard in the ass by evolution, because with the way these bones are arranged, it wouldn't even be able to move. They need some kind of evolution patched DLC update here, like a hot fix, because these aliens wouldn't be able to even take a single step.
One of the thigh bones is actually a femur, only facing the wrong way around, while the other one is a tibia. And they are completely mismatched. With the hip bone, there's no joint there at all. The poor humanoid wouldn't have made a single step. Some of the bones are simply chopped off.
So even if you go ahead and write off the coincidence that the aliens have the same bones we do, how could you possibly write off that the way their structure is set up would mean they can't move? evolution doesn't really work that way. It wouldn't have made it this far if that were the case. And it's getting me gassy, so I'm just ripping mean ass right now. All of this alien stuff has just been so fascinating, and this video says that some of the bones were just chopped off, like kind of just chopped willy-nilly. That wouldn't really happen naturally at all. It suggests that they were made like this, with just an absolute fucking mishmash of different bones going in different places in order to look alien-like.
Note this asymmetry here. The fingers are a total mess too. The first pseudophalanges are facing in different directions on her left and right hands, with the white part facing up or down. Well, they just forgot to turn them the right way. Stuff happens.
That's pretty damning. Some of the bones are just facing the wrong way because whoops-a-daisy. And like I mentioned, some of these photos that are in this video from 2 years ago were the same ones that were presented last night. Most notably, the alien with the 3 eggs in their tummy. The pregnant alien carrying the triplets. That is in this video. That same X-ray photo was presented last night. So I think we can say with a high level of confidence that all of the information presented for these corpses 2 years ago applies to the corpses shown last night. They are the same. And if that is the case, then a very interesting component of these remains is actually the skull.
French paleontologist Julien Benoit thinks that those who crafted the small humanoid mummies used skulls of some small mammals for their heads, such as a llama or alpaca. Comparison shows that the reptiloid's cranial cavity fits perfectly the cranial cavity of a llama. The skull was then rotated so its back part faces forward. The reptiloid's face is actually the back of the poor llama's head.
I trimmed this up just a little bit to keep it brief, but they make an extremely strong argument for why this alien skull is actually that of a llama skull. The bulbs, the brain hemisphere, all of it matches up perfectly with a llama skull. The only thing is they cut out and rotated it. And the question then becomes, well, where would they get a llama skull? And the video answers that too. According to one of the historians, back a long time ago, there was actually burials for llamas in the area where these mummified remains were found. So they would have had easy access and readily available llama skulls at the site.
Where could the mummy forgers have gotten a llama skull? Historian Yuri Bereskin has told me that pre-Columbian peoples of Peru often made llama burials. Here's a fresh report about finding buried llama mummies in Peru.
Overall, I think this video makes an extremely compelling case for these being forgeries, not actually alien mummified remains or anything. Now, I have seen that the newest presentation here has the bones in the correct alignment in terms of like the ones that were backwards here in the video. Apparently, what might have happened is they recognized the error first off and then just rotated the bones properly. Though it still doesn't fix the underlying issue of why the fuck would an alien have all of the same bones we have. Like there is still just no good explanation for that other than it just being completely fraudulent really, and that this isn't a real alien remain. But like I said, I would love for this to be the real deal, completely legitimate, and hopefully soon, scientists from around the world will actually go investigate, either confirm or deny the findings, and conclude once and for all if these are real aliens, or if it truly is just a complete forgery here of some mummified remains, if it is just a bunch of bones from a bunch of different things thrown together into this creature here. So, I guess we'll see. I just wanted to show this to you because I found it to be extremely interesting. And yeah, that's really about it. See ya. While most of you were sleeping soundly in your beds having wet dreams, I was up tossing and turning all night, just eagerly waiting, like a kid on Christmas morning, for what the Pope was about to say in regards to aliens. If you're confused by that statement, it shows me that you're already so naive and it makes me sick. You're living in the dark, the deep state's controlling your mind and it's time you break free. And let me be the guiding light to get you there. The Vatican had scheduled a live stream where they were going to go over supernatural phenomenon and even aliens themselves, potentially, according to many headlines. The live stream was slated for this morning, and as of 2 hours ago, that live stream happened. I don't want to get into spoilers, but this was universe-shattering shit. Let me first lay down the groundwork for the lore about what the live stream was supposed to pertain to, then I'll give you the debriefing on what happened. Here, the Pope is going to be holding a live press conference tomorrow to talk about aliens. We live in the golden age of aliens right now. The Pope is talking about aliens? Pope set to hold press conference on aliens and supernatural. This is what I'm talking about! It's about time! Let's see what the Pope had to say about the aliens. Okay, never mind. The Pope is demanding that I pay the sun. What is this? This is so ridiculous. A word from Larry Kudlow, and that word is go fuck yourself, I guess. I hate modern journalists. I'm not paying just for access to a fucking article that you probably lifted from the tweets anyway. It's a radio station. That's what it seems like. 99.9. The Pope station. This one's tuned directly into God. Did you hear Jesus is going to be making a guest appearance at the Pope's press conference? Can you imagine that lineup? This would be like Coachella, but for religion. The Pope, Jesus, aliens. All we need next is Job. That'd be a wild lineup. They would go so hard. The Vatican is scheduled to release documents pertaining to the supernatural and other phenomena, and others are suggesting even about aliens. What's going to happen? According to the National Catholic Reporter, documents will be released that were prepared by 3 investigators. The document is set to explain the new norms considered by the dicastery for the doctrine of the faith about such issues. They have 3 Vatican investigators? Who are they? Is it like Russell Crowe from The Exorcist? Was that more like a documentary than anything? What is this? The dicastery for the doctrine of faith. This is... I'm very new here. Here's the Holy Father tab. Okay. The last time a report like this was released was in 1978. The Vatican has now prepared papers that share the Pope and the Church's guidelines when it comes to things like apparitions and supernatural phenomena. Social media sites, blogs, and others interested in the discovery of the possibility of the existence of aliens and the proof thereof have been buzzing on different platforms, speculating about what will be put forth in the papers. A few media outlets are hinting that there would be something earth-shattering at the news conference, but that doesn't seem like the case. Tomorrow's press conference will be live-streamed, and the press conference will be led by Cardinal Victor Manuel Fernandez, who will speak about the Church's view on various items like apparitions and supernatural phenomena. In addition, the doctrine does comment on the Church's view about faith concerning aliens. Why? It's an easy explanation. According to the National Catholic Reporter, it is being done so after a surge in reporting of aliens and supernatural phenomena from the mainstream media. Okay, so this just sounds like they're going to say, like, yeah, if there are aliens, they're, like, totally Catholic. Like, we're, like, completely fine with that. It doesn't seem like they're putting forth their own evidence of their existence, more so about their perspective on aliens versus the faith. That's a lot less hype than I was expecting. I thought the Pope was going to come out there with, like, a fucking alien head, slap it on the desk, and be like, yep, here they are. And this is the proof. I'll watch the live stream, but I'm not expecting anything earth-shattering here from the Pope press conference. What time is it? I'll set an alarm so I can be there right on time so I don't miss anything. 12 p.m. Like Eastern? 12 p.m. what? Central? 12 p.m. Pope time? Like, I don't... What does he operate on? Okay, not even the Reddit's all that pumped. Yeah, I'm not expecting much, so I guess we'll see. I'd love to be pleasantly surprised. The Pope podcast about aliens? Well, it's more than a podcast. He's going full-blown live stream. I don't know if it's on Kick, Rumble, or maybe they have their own dedicated service. Do you think the Pope will talk about the Kendrick versus Drake beef? I know we gathered you all here about, like, supernatural, apparitions, aliens, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Chupacabra, gnomes, goblins, whatever, but let's talk about the Kendrick versus Drake beef for a second, huh? Isn't that shit crazy? Well, aliens are definitely real. 100%. There's aliens out there. I think you'd be a fool to think we're alone in the universe. I just know that they're not here. And I don't think they ever have been. Maybe, like, aliens scanned us at one point. I think maybe that has, like, a slim chance. They got us with, like, a fucking UAV after a 3-kill streak somewhere in the cosmos. But other than that, nah, I highly fucking doubt aliens have ever been here. People always misconstrue my stance on aliens. I 100% believe... It's more than a belief. I know aliens are out there. I just really am... I also know they haven't been here. I don't really feel like reading all this. Why in the fuck would aliens be traveling across the galaxy in the golden snitch from Harry Potter? Like, this looks like a Christmas bell. Like, what is this needle? Like, this is... I mean, this is like steampunk almost. You can't be serious. There's no way. Well, can't argue with that. The Vatican Alien E3 showcase has concluded. It was about 2 hours long, and I have no fucking idea what they were saying. There's no subtitles that were available for it, so I had to wait for it to be translated by others so it could be fed to me, baby birded, just vomited into my mouth about what was discussed. And the answer couldn't have been more underwhelming. This was like the Willy Wonka experience, but for adults. It's so fucking lame. Basically, they just came out with these set of rules and guidelines that would help people avoid being the victim of scams and hoaxes. So, since alien sightings and UAPs and all types of supernatural phenomena are being reported so frequently, and a lot of times, well, every single time pretty much, it's all from bad actors fraudulently just using this as a way of making money off it or generating headlines, the Vatican decided to come forward and tighten its grip, just get like this titty twister on it, and let people know, from now on, only a pope rather than local bishops can declare apparitions and revelations to be supernatural. So that's a pretty vague term, that's kind of all-encompassing, so if you see like a light in the sky that you can't quite explain, you can now no longer write it off as aliens or try and portray it as something other than, well, that was a weird light, until a pope comes forward and says, yep, that shit was freaky. That one's going in the alien logbook, son. So, from now on, only a pope has the power to declare something as supernatural. And this is basically just patch notes to their previous guidelines issued in 1978. And the reason they did this is to crack down on people falling victim to bullshit baloney. So, as mentioned here, some cases of supernatural phenomena were exploited for profit, power, and personal interest, or even a pretext for exerting control over people or carrying out abuse. There's a quote here that says, "The possibility of believers being misled by an event that is attributed to a divine initiative but is merely the product of someone's imagination, desire for novelty, tendency to fabricate falsehoods, or inclination towards lying." So overall, this press conference was about announcing these new rules which aim to streamline the process of declaring something truly supernatural, so that way people can avoid being scammed as frequently as they have been. So for everyone like me who wanted this press conference to have like eye-opening new information about aliens or anything supernatural, we were left high and dry, dick in hand, with nothing to eat here. This breakfast that they served up was a fucking nothing omelet, unfortunately. I mean, it's cool that they're doing something to try and crack down on people using supernatural sightings to exploit people. Like, yeah, that's obviously a good thing to try and, you know, tighten the screws on. But damn, the way that the media hyped this up really had me and many others believing that this might be something big. Like, the Pope comes forward, like, you know, pyrotechnics are going off, smoke shooting, they start playing the Undertaker WWE walkout music, and the Pope approaches the mic, flips down a pair of sunglasses, and says, "We're not alone." But that's not what we got from the live stream. Maybe one day, I guess we'll see, but yeah. That's the most recent alien update in the world. I keep my finger on the pulse of anything extraterrestrial, so... But yeah, anyway, that's about it. So yeah. Did you hear that the Las Vegas alien body cam video is apparently legit, according to expert examiners? Who are the expert examiners? Hey, this is my Uncle Steve. He said this shit is super real. Like, who do you even call in? The scientist from Independence Day that gets strangled to death? Yeah, they didn't even contact my father, so I already doubt these experts. Las Vegas alien videos previously missed detail proves authenticity, expert says. You can't deny it. Watch me. Boy, do I have some cold water to throw in your face, expert. Let me take a peek. Oh my god, wait, it's this old one. It's the old one. This whole load of baloney. This load of barnacles. He's still on this. I thought this was new. You mean this load of proof? True, right, sorry. The irrefutable evidence. After, of course, the 20 ads that I get here. I'll get to it soon.
I was on the other side. I was helping my dad to clean the...
On that side of the house?
On the other side, yeah, in the backyard. So we were working on a truck. We work on a truck and we were checking... Okay. So we were working, I was cleaning everything, put everything inside the little garage we have. Me and my brother, we just looked.
What's the detail that we all missed?
Yeah, me and him saw it.
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious.
Can we go outside? I want to spend
Yeah, we can go look. No, any dogs or anything?
Is there something over there? Was that the missing detail? What's... Oh my god, what is this format? I paused the video and then there was like 7 videos just surrounding it. I just wanted to rewind.
Not gonna let me sleep tonight.
Oh yeah, I bet. I wouldn't be sleeping either.
Alright, so what was the missing detail there? Was there some kind of alien warp drive parked in the backyard somewhere? Just scooted in sideways? When a Las Vegas family told police they saw something not human in their backyard, they were not lying. A veteran crime scene recreation expert said. Scott Roeder of Evidence Room Animation and Exhibits used his expertise and motion tracking software to analyze the video of a purported UFO crash landing in Sin City in April 2023. He told News Nation they tried to debunk the responding officer's body cam footage or prove something was added to the video. Now, he said he is convinced there were 2 creatures creeping around the family's Las Vegas yard that night. All of our results came back as authentic, Roeder said. There's no editing. That is an original video. What do we... am I misremembering? Where are the 2 creatures? Is it this one? Are they here? A tall, skinny alien creature with greenish color.
This is you. And this is us.
The man's being hunted by Piccolo, I guess. I don't remember that in the body cam. Because I remember the incident, but I don't even remember the greenish tall guys. So that's the footage? Let me see it again. Enhance. How do you have something that looks this blurry in 2024? This? These glow-in-the-dark neon props from mini golf? Is this them? Why are they this color? Are they inflicted with gamma radiation? Or is it this one, which is even blurrier somehow? What is he using for a security camera here? A Motorola Razr? Jesus Christ, I can't see anything. Is this proof somewhere?
This is around the neighborhood, so here's the video.
So it's the audio. Why would it do that? I guess if it was really mad if they crash landed, like, fuck! And then he kicks a trash can.
¡Ay! ¡Regresar! Calmungarela, me canceles var eso. Cáelo, cherro, que chidica. Cáelo, cherro.
Are they in the sand? Did they bury underneath? Like a little crab? What am I looking at? What am I looking for? Are they in the RV? Maybe I missed something important in the sand. Hold on, what does he say about it?
But Metro... So they went in the backyard and one of the officers pointed at the floor and it was a perfect circle. Here's a photo of the circle I'm referring to.
Who gives a fuck? And that is the furthest thing from a perfect circle I've ever seen. That's very oblong. That's like edamame shaped.
Come back, don't call us, alright? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
Yeah, this is all old. I remember all of these. So what is the irrefutable proof that we missed? I don't understand. So this guy ran simulations to prove that there were aliens in his backyard that night? What kind of fucking simulations? Did he go in Blender and make a game out of it? Like, what do you mean? Roeder pored over the footage and watched it over and over until he finally spotted what he missed every time. 2 beings in the video at the same time, he told News Nation's show Banfield. Using motion tracking software that zeroes in on the source of motion, Roeder said he attached motion to a figure in the background to show that the movement of the shadow reflects the movement of a body that is attached to the head. We don't believe it's a floating head. We believe it's attached to a body, and the motion of that head from right to left is consistent with the motion that we see between the slats of the fence. The story has been fiercely debated since the streaks of lights lit up Las Vegas sky April 30th, 2023. All right, let's take a peek at the irrefutable evidence that we all missed.
So this is a very slowed down screen recording I took, and I know everybody is trying to find the aliens in front of these guys, but I noticed something insane, and I want everybody, my two friends who will watch this, to take a look down, pay attention to two areas. We're going to look down here on the bottom right behind their fence and right up there, but we're going to first start down here because I found something crazy. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to what I believe is the creepiest part of this video. And I'm going to point out two things you need to pay attention to right here, which is the head. And if you look really close, there's actually a shiny black eye.
It's that alien that pops out of that dude's chest in Total Recall. He's here.
Hand. That, I believe, is some creature, non-human, crouching down. And that was its eye I just pointed at. And I want you to pay attention to what appear to be fingers running up the fence, as if it's kneeling down or something and peering out. And then there you go. See the fingers? And I think I go back and forth a couple times here, but it looks to me like...
Yeah, it's massaging the wood.
There's a little other, or a big creature looking through the fence on the bottom there, crouched down.
Whoa, this is irrefutable.
And then there's the fingers going right up.
How did we miss it?
Down, up and down. Just looks like almost a human hand crawling up the fence. And at the very beginning you see... You get it.
Well, now I feel like a damn fool after seeing
really
this.
What's interesting about this is...
I'm assuming this isn't what Scott Roeder is saying is, like, irrefutable, completely authentic. Because apparently this guy's some kind of expert, and I don't think that would be the video. Because that is the stupidest shit I've seen in a minute. So where is Scott Roeder's video?
To another episode of Surviving the Survivor.
It is a fact that one man could not have made those 3 shots. It's a fact that John F. Kennedy was shot from the front, right, not the back. If you know how bullets react, you know that when a bullet goes into the brain or into the body or into the tissue, it creates a smaller hole on the entrance and a bigger...
What does that have to do with the aliens? Is he claiming aliens helped assassinate John F. Kennedy? I really want to believe that that's the angle he's taking. I'm going to rewind briefly. We are so off course now, but I have to know if he's blaming that on aliens.
All right, Scott. Let me jump in 1 second. So, Scott, is your claim? And I don't want to stay on this because I really we're delivering UFOs.
It's a ridiculous argument. I mean,
you
got to come to me more with
Scott. Do you believe there were 2 shooters? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, okay. Damn, it's not about aliens. Fuck, that would have been amazing if he's like, listen. If you analyze the Zapruder film, frame by frame, you're going to see 5 extraterrestrials touch down and blast them with a ray gun. It's right there. We used our motion tracking software to confirm it.
Which I found initially, and I didn't even see or recognize the being or whatever it is above the fence.
Then you're a damn fool. I recognized it right away.
It was pointed out to me by a subscriber to a friend of mine's podcast. But once you see it, you can't deny it. So there's actually 2 beings in the video at the same time.
Where is his video? Once you see it, you can't deny it. Well, show it to me so I can stop denying it. Where is it? This is like the most nothing fucking video of all time. Like, actually, it is like the most fucking nothing video to hyperanalyze. Oh, we talked... So here's good news for the alien enthusiasts. While there's still no evidence of aliens having visited us anytime recently, there is evidence from a Cambridge scientist who found the markers of life on an exoplanet, I think it was 50 light years from us. What was it, disulfur monoxide or something? And it's only found from life, I believe. Yeah, I think it was disulfur monoxide. I already fucking forgot. But whatever they found is only present in life. Only produced from life forms. So... that's big news. That's very hype. It was 140 light years? Oh, I thought it was 50. Whatever. That's still cool.
We can take a video and look at whether or not there is an artificial artifact added to it or not. And in this case,
Why are you having this alien teabag these gentlemen? What in the fuck does that prove?
can definitively say to a degree of scientific certainty that this entity, this thing in the video is there in the physical reality in which the Kenmore family is also there. Like, this is so critical because you can clearly see through the slots in the fence that there is a leg motion moving from the right to the left side of the screen. And clearly it is behind there. It's just what you were able to determine that this shadow being or this being.
Did he like boost the shadow? Because now I can see the shadow for the fucking first time. Let me go back to like an old one now. I can finally see that shadow that they're losing their mind about. So he must have really like bumped it up so it was more visible.
In the shadows, possibly creating its own shadow or smoky filter or cloaking technique.
Technique? You think this guy he's like participating in the Chunin exams? He's using ninjutsu? Cloaking technique, brother, it'd be like cloaking tech, and I don't think it'd be casting a shadow. That'd be really inefficient. That'd be like the worst cloaking tech ever. Turn yourself into like a new character in Super Smash Brothers you haven't unlocked yet.
But cloaking itself from the camera itself in that it's minimizing our ability to identify pixels inside of that shadow.
Joined now by UFO
Her face really says it all.
I don't detect anything overt as a red flag that I would say that made me suspect that it was edited.
I'm so curious. Why would it... Let's just assume he's 100% right. Why the fuck would an 8-foot alien just be walking around, stop at this fence, look at the camera, and then walk away? What? He probably would just leave the scene. He's probably like super tight that his Turbo Cosmo space cruiser crashed into a fucking backyard. He would be upset. He wouldn't be calm. It's time you and I have a very important talk. Might be an awkward discussion, but it's a very significant one in every person's life. The old birds and ETs. We need to discuss aliens a little more in depth because there's a lot of misinformation floating around about what I believe in when it comes to these beautiful cosmic bastards out there, and, well, I want to set the record straight. All of you know, my dad loves aliens. I'd argue he's one of the biggest alien enthusiasts in this country right now. And he's very passionate about this topic. So am I. I am also very passionate about aliens, but more so because I find a lot of the theories that pop up about aliens visiting us, and here's UFO footage, and it's just like this poorly photoshopped image of two colanders stacked on top of each other, wiggling around in 240p, and it's black and white and just blurry out the wazoo. They're like, no, it's real footage of a UFO flying around. Like, I laugh at that kind of stuff. Or like the alien bodies that keep being discovered. Like the fucking potato alien from 3 days ago, where people were convinced there was an alien in someone's garden because they had this like interdimensional cosmic abortion that just plopped into their garden. They're like, look, finally, irrefutable proof to convince all the doubters. We got an alien body. And it just looks like a shriveled up mushroom with nipples on it. Like, that does not look like an alien at all. And you also have to ask yourself the question, if an alien race is advanced enough to reach Earth, it means they've cracked faster than light travel, one, so they're already well beyond our comprehension technologically. How the fuck would they just crash land here and end up in someone's garden? Do they just come to Earth to die? Like, alright, we'll take the space cruiser out. I'm looking for a good place to just die. I'll choose Earth, and this one random person's garden seems like a nice spot. It just doesn't make sense. It's not like it's just going to be some freak accident where they crash into Earth and die, and our weaponry certainly wouldn't be effective against something that technologically advanced if they're able to visit us. It's just illogical. Like, that kind of stuff makes me laugh. So when it comes to aliens, I'm very passionate because the comical nature of it is unmatched, really. But I do still firmly believe there's alien life out there in the universe. It's too big for there not to be, in my opinion. I just firmly don't think they have ever visited Earth. Ever. My dad does not agree. We don't see eye to eye when it comes to aliens. My dad is a firm believer that aliens have not only visited our planet, but helped us evolve and advance, all the way back into ancient times. He is a big proponent of ancient aliens. And while I too am an enjoyer of ancient aliens, it's for an entirely different reason. It's because I think it is very entertaining because of how outlandish it is. Meanwhile, my father subscribes to the belief that Ancient Aliens is right on the money when it comes to like aliens building pyramids and Puma Punku and all of that kind of stuff. So I just want to set the record straight. I believe aliens are out there. I feel like you'd be a fool to think that we're alone in the universe. I just really have seen no compelling evidence that convinces me they've ever visited Earth in any way, shape, or form. But my dad very much disagrees. And he wants to do some kind of like panel where he tries to like really convince me of it. Like he wants to put together like a video showcase of it, which I've encouraged him to do because I think it'd be amazing. But we haven't done that yet. I also went a little bit deeper on stream about like my dad's alien beliefs versus mine. So I'm just going to go ahead and play those clips. I just don't want there to be any more confusion because I keep seeing people say that I don't believe in aliens or something. Or on the other side of the spectrum, people saying that I believe aliens helped us build the pyramids and fucking blessed us with fiber optic internet or something. Like all kinds of different things because wires are getting crossed here. Because my dad talks about aliens so much and I talk about my dad talking about aliens so much. And then everything just gets all, you know, confuddled into like this, you know, knowledge soup. So I just wanted to make it very clear here. But anyway, here's the stream clips that go a little more in depth. It's kind of already been cracked, but he just doesn't believe the official explanation because my dad, he's like an engineer, and he just really doesn't believe that people back then would be able to make these cuts on these blocks. And that's the thing he harps on a lot. He just really thinks people back then were stupid as fuck. He really does. He thinks not only were they stupid, they just didn't have tools to make cuts on stone. Well, at least cuts like this on stone. The H blocks. So how did they do it? According to my dad, the aliens did it for him. He doesn't have an explanation as to why. He just thinks the aliens came down here and just fucking started carving H on these blocks. He doesn't really have like a reason as to why. He just says, well, we can't know, they're smarter than us. And I'm like, damn, that's such an easy cop-out. If aliens did help make it, why the hell would they only use stone and not give early humans advanced metal or something similar? Are they stupid? That's what I said. Like I'm basically just reliving like our arguments that we have back and forth, and they're not arguments, like they're good-spirited. But like I always say, if the aliens did this, why? And he just says, well, we can't know, they're smarter than us. Okay. And then I say, if aliens did this, why are they still using primitive shit? You could have easily made this out of like metals or something. And usually what he'll say is the aliens wanted to teach humans how to do it, to help them advance or something along those lines. And I'm like, if they wanted to do that, why didn't they leave any other messages or instructions? And he says they did. It's called the pyramids. They're perfectly aligned with Orion's belt. It's their message to us. And I say, what is that message? He's like, well, we don't know. They're smarter than us. We can't possibly know. And I'm like, well, it's a fucking very ineffective message then, isn't it? I used to watch Ancient Aliens back in the day, bro. The shit they come up with is hilarious. They unironically said the Bible story about Jonah being swallowed by a whale is false. He was actually abducted by an alien submarine. We talked about that yesterday. Yeah, my dad fully disavows 99% of Ancient Aliens, but really believes that they know their shit when it comes to the pyramids. And I guess Puma Punku by extension, because they covered that. They have a whole goddamn episode on, like, Sasquatch being an alien, or dropped off by aliens or something. I already forgot. Have you heard of the Intergalactic Federation? That's kind of part of the secret space program. They're adjacent. But yes, I am familiar. This even got referenced in 2020, if you guys remember this. Former Israeli space security chief says extraterrestrials exist and Trump knows about it. He said, a galactic federation has been waiting for humans to reach a stage where we will understand what space and spaceships are. So this kind of kicked that whole thing off. What's the most heated alien argument you had with your dad? I don't know. Heated's just not the right word, because it's always comical. Like, we're usually both giggling, but he's very passionate about it. So I guess he kind of gets heated. He'll start, like, really, like, raising his voice about it. He's like, Charlie, I built cars for fucking 50 years. I know engineering. The people back then didn't have the tools or the fucking brain power to build the pyramids. It's simple engineering, son. When are you gonna stop being so stupid? but like he's not being mean about it. He's just getting like really animated. Speaking of ancient aliens, remember that episode where they said giraffes used to have short necks? Blame it on the aliens? Or am I on crack? That sounds like ancient aliens. There was even a whole meme for a while that was passed around Reddit where they had Sukalos, who my dad fucking loves. Before I like watched more ancient aliens outside of the homework he assigned me with the pyramids episode, my dad was like, Charlie, you gotta look at this guy. His name is Giorgio Sukalos. He knows his shit. And then it turns out he's the guy from all the memes where he does this and it just says aliens. He's that guy. And I felt almost shame. I was like, Dad, no. Not Sukalos. This can't be your expert source. It can't be. And sure enough, it was. And Sukalos is like the worst offender of just blaming everything on aliens. So in the pyramid episode, I think it was Sukalos, there was like a speculation like, this pyramid didn't have a tomb in it. So then why was it the way that it was? And Sukalos comes in and said, well, it's because they were communicating directly with aliens in the intergalactic cosmos far, far away. And he's like, well, do you have a source for that? Like, that's quite a leap. Like, how do you know that? Sounds like he's just messing with you. Doesn't sound like he actually believes it. No. No, you couldn't be more wrong. Since I was a child, my dad has been on the aliens and pyramids. I remember being a baby boy, a toddler, and my dad would try and have these profound talks with me where he'd sit me down and be like, listen, son, it might not be this year, it might not be 10 years, it might not be 20 years, but one day, you're gonna see, we're gonna find out that the aliens built those fucking pyramids. We will learn that the aliens helped us advance in our primitive stages. I remember as far back as my brain will allow me that he has always been on that. Since day one. He's committed to the joke. It's not a joke to him, I'll tell you right now. Even tonight he texted me. He's like, so I see you talked about those stupid garden alien potato things or whatever. What did he say again? You say, what's that new alien vid? Bunch of bullshit. You gotta do one about Puma Punku. Love you. That was at 8:23. He is always on alien mode. You know what it is? I talked about this on stream. I'll mention it again. I think what happened is, my dad, when he was a teenager, he always like believed that, like he just really, because my dad is, like I said, he does so much engineering and has his whole life. He just really can't wrap his head around people back then being able to make like sophisticated stuff like pyramids and fucking giant H's, I guess. And I think he probably for a while harbored this belief that it must have been the aliens because it's so advanced, but was probably more open-minded to it, like to being proven wrong, like, hey, no, that's not what happened and here's how they did it, which we have a lot of evidence to support a lot of theories on how these things were made. But what happened, what really cemented him in this way, is my dad's roommate was a U.S. Army lieutenant? No. Major? I think it was a major. I can't remember the order. But he was a pretty high-ranking like a person in the military, and he worked at a MacDill Air Force Base, which is a huge Air Force base in Tampa. And they were roommates for the longest time. Even like after leaving the military, they remained roommates, remained very close. And he was an alcoholic, unfortunately. Very sad set of circumstances. He was not in a good way. But my dad swears by this story that he was telling the truth. One day, his roommate came back, fucking blasted, per usual, and he told my dad that, that day on the base, they had recovered an alien corpse, and that MacDill Air Force Base had an alien body there. And my dad swears by it, fucking swears by it, that he wasn't being lied to. He was in his right mind enough to reveal that information. Like he's usually very tight-lipped. This isn't something he would normally do. It probably rattled him to the core. And I think that was the moment the switch was flipped in my dad's brain where it's like, okay, I'm right. The aliens are here and they've been here. I think that's what happened. When really, what I think happened is the guy had a lot of mental problems, alcohol abuse, a lot of terrible things, and I think it may have just been associated with that. I don't think they actually had a fucking alien body on the base. You gotta find that guy and see if he was telling the truth. Well, I'd need a Ouija board for that because he's dead. Yeah, he passed away. So that information is, that's with him now, in the afterlife. The aliens got him. He knew too much. That's probably what it was. Thanks for the gift sub, Couch. What kind of information do you think was lost in the Library of Alexandria? You don't think the Egyptians had sophisticated tools? Well, hey, what the fuck? I have been firmly on the side of the people back then were still very smart, very resourceful, and actually had a very good understanding of, like, tools and all of that. They had the means at their disposal to make these things. Wait, you're barking up the wrong tree. I'm on your side. Thanks for the resub, Hubie. But as for the Library of Alexandria, God only knows what information was lost in that. They had Stanleys back then. Yeah, they probably fought wars over Stanley Cups back then. I did more research on Sukalos. Motherfucker unironically said Excalibur was an alien laser weapon. That does sound about par for the course. That's the Giorgio Sukalos I've come to know. Archaeology degree checking in. The thing with Puma Punku is simply we have not found the tools they used. Look up Cyclopean masonry. Ancient Greeks and Romans saw these walls of huge, perfectly fit stones and figured, surely only Cyclops could have built this. 1,000 years later, we figured out what tools they used and decided the OG theory was cringe. Well, from what I recall, and it's been years since I bothered digging into Puma Punku, they actually did find the molds for tools they used to carve out the H-blocks, and the tools, like the molds, what they were making, would be able to make those cuts. So I don't think there's a lot of mystery left to it, from what I remember. You ever wonder if there was a case that we did see actual proof of alien life but just wrote it off as fake because it looked so unbelievable? I don't think anything that the general public has ever seen was alien, like real alien life. But I do think there's probably been like maybe something through like one of the, like, I don't know, maybe the James Webb Telescope or something that they've seen that's like, oh, that's like actual alien life. That they just haven't published. That's what I think. I don't think there's anything layman like you and I would have seen. Does your dad believe in the Men in Black? If so, what are his thoughts on them? No. The statistics of there not being alien life is unfathomably higher than the statistics of there not being life. The chances of us intersecting is also astronomical. I've said a million times, I firmly, truly believe there's alien life out there. I just don't think it has ever crossed paths with Earth. I really don't think that's happened. Ever. Do you by chance know about the signal that came from space in 1977 that we never really found out where it came from? Oh my god, not the fucking WoW signal again. We're not going down this shit. We're not doing this again. We've already covered the fucking WoW signal. Not again. Next we're gonna get into warp drives or some goofiness. No more. No more. We've barked up that tree plenty. Have you heard of Teotihuacan? It's an ancient city in Mexico that ancient aliens believe is an alien computer. Their proof is that it looks kind of like a circuit board. I'll be the judge of that. I know my way around circuit boards. I'm guessing this one is the most circuit board-esque. Maybe there's a reason why aliens don't visit, like what can they do with a bunch of old dinosaurs? Thanks for some spaghetti. There's just so many different ways you can toss around that thought experiment. I just think faster than light travel is probably just not cracked by any life right now, would be my guess. And even if it was, I don't think they would touch us. They just be no reason to. They wouldn't need anything from us. If they have faster than light travel, we can offer them nothing. Except memes. And OnlyFans, I guess, if they don't have that in their world. Search the Teotihuacan alien computer. It shows a comparison with a real circuit board. I didn't need more convincing. I already bought in, but sure. Those bastards. They hid their circuit board in plain sight. And they thought they'd get away with it. They thought they were slick. Don't show this to your dad. I don't think my dad would believe in that one. Though I wonder if I, like, dressed it up well enough. Like, Dad, you know, we may not see eye to eye on all the pyramids and stuff, but what do you think about Teotihuacan alien computers? And he'd probably hit me with question marks and be like, check this out. I saw this today, and it turns out this entire place is a giant alien circuit board. And I bet he'd be like, I told you! I knew it! I'd maybe just need to put it in the right context, because I feel like if I just came at him like, what do you think of this? He'd be like, it's kind of baloney. But if I let in like, I'm starting to believe it, he'd probably be like, okay, this might be some good shit. You gotta start making up your own conspiracies to convince him, hire some artists to create some fake images for you. That's just diabolical. That is something I wanted to do on Facebook. I think it was about 5 years ago. And I was getting pretty serious about it. I was drumming up my own conspiracy, and I was going to hire some artists to start putting together like a lot of material for it, and I was going to start spreading fake conspiracies on Facebook for fun. But I ended up not doing it. There are many planets that look like they can support alien life. What do you think they'd look like? Again, insectoid. I said it yesterday. I think they'd look insectoid. Like, I don't think they'd be fuckable. I don't think they'd be hot. I think they'd just look like bugs.